Okay. Um, I don't know what to say. I guess I need an intro. This is a trial for podcasting. And my guest is my good friend Davis. We went to high school together. We did track and field. Went to the University of Waterloo together. He did chemical engineering. I did electrical engineering. Now he's working in the Toronto area. So yeah, welcome. And what's up?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me, Akshay. It's a pretty, I guess, sunny evening here over here. Toronto got quite a bit of rain throughout the day, but didn't really change too much because it's been an inside day like many past weeks and months of inside days.
And I just realized that I started this way too formal, and you just followed through with that. So yeah, so we don't need to do
No,
that. But yeah, so basically, you were saying that you still can't do dragon boating because of the coronavirus, but you can go out on the water in individual. Uh, I guess what would you call them? Ships, boats?
yeah, so they're just like canoes and kayaks that you take on camping. They're just faster versions of canoes and kayaks that you take out for camping and recreational paddling out on like small lakes and stuff.
Oh, so where are you going? Like which lake?
It's on Lake Ontario, which, as of late, with all the heavy rainfall, is actually pretty bad to go out just due to health concerns, like the level of E. coli in the water, just due to all the runoff from like the surrounding lands, just really pollutes the water, makes it murky, um, and yeah, the bacteria levels are just unreasonably risky to go out, especially if you have like any like small open wounds or whatever.
Mm, yeah, I mean, I told you already. I cut my tongue, but I guess I wouldn't go into the water then and open my mouth.
Yeah,
Um,
no open water paddling on Lake Ontario for that. I would not suggest that right now.
so are you still going on there, even though it's not recommended?
I've actually taken this week and well, I guess like this week and a bit off, probably 2 weeks and a few days, because I actually hurt my left wrist getting back into paddling.
Mm.
Um, so I've been going to see physio for that as well, and I should probably follow up with my physio this week to see how the recovery is going because I've stopped paddling, but it feels like it's probably going to be a long recovery process. Um, and the caveat for me is that if I apply any moderate pressure of push or pull loads on my left arm, then I'll notice pain. So I just got to be very cautious for that.
So what is not working? Like, did you break a tendon or, I mean, I remember you injured one of your fingers during free climbing like years ago. Is that related to this injury or that's completely separate?
That's a separate thing. I've injured my hands and fingers. Like I've injured two of my fingers on the left hand, injured the palms of both my hands, and now I've injured the left wrist near my pinky, so the ulnar side of the wrist.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So not the greatest series of uh, physical events, but it is what it is.
Man, you know what you should try? You should try some human transmutation and then give up your arms and then get, what do you call them? Automail.
Yeah, yeah. That's man. If I could have if I could have any of those automails right now, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, I just finished watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for the first time through like a couple of days ago. So, you know,
Nice.
when your fingers and arm and everything stop working as well, that's an option. Just
Yeah,
chop off your arm and get some automail.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, I can summon otherworldly thing spoilers. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. I remember you mentioning that you had started that a while back, but that's so sick that you finished it. I mean, I would say Brotherhood is one of my top, not even animes, but just top shows of all time.
Yeah, so I don't remember when I started it, but I know for the first maybe like 40, 45 episodes, I was watching an episode a day. And then eventually it went up to 2 episodes per day and then three. And then on the last day, I just watched the last 6 or 7 at once. So I guess I've been watching it for like maybe like around 40 days in total, 40, 45 days.
Okay, yeah, sounds pretty moderate, man.
Yeah, you know
Pretty good self-control.
what I noticed is whenever I used to watch TV shows where I would just binge everything, it would be awesome. But then within like 2 weeks, I wouldn't remember anything about the show. So, for example, I watched a series of unfortunate events on Netflix. I mean, we talked about it a while back.
Great series.
It's a great series, but all I can remember is that I thought it was great. I don't remember, like, it's just like a blur. So,
Mhm.
yeah, doing it this way is more useful if you want to like remember things fondly.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense, just given how just the human brain works, right? Like we need that time to process the events and digest. Like
Yeah.
at the coarsest level, that's just like getting a good night's rest, getting like 8 hours of sleep. Even as we were students, that was important to study the material. It's basically the same thing with like the TV stuff too. Like it's great content, but it's just like we can only remember so much in a given day,
Yeah,
especially if we binge.
Yeah, it's crazy because nowadays there's just too much content to watch. So I find my list of things to watch just keeps increasing. But because I'm restricting myself to an episode or two a day and maybe like 2 or 3 shows per day, the list never ends. Like it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, I guess that's something new, I think.
I mean, that's a good way to process new media, especially if you're being as selective as you are. Like watching the quality stuff, Brotherhood, The Expanse.
Yeah, that's The
Have you heard of that?
Expanse. Oh man. So you last time we talked, you were on you finished season 3.
Yeah, I've started season 4 now.
Oh, okay.
I'm about halfway through that, and
Oh, okay.
you were just you were waiting to finish the book before starting season 2, right?
No, I finished watching season 2, and I've also
Oh,
finished
okay.
reading the second book. But
Okay, right,
I want to finish reading the third book before starting the third season.
right.
And I know the third book comes into the third season halfway through, but I just want to wait for finishing the whole book.
Yeah.
I'm reading another book right now. It's a Jack Reacher book. Have you heard of Jack Reacher? No. Anyway,
The name sounds familiar.
yeah, there were 2 movies made based on the series. Tom Cruise was in both of them as the main character, Jack Reacher. But anyway, I'm just reading that book. It's like an ex-military cop in the U.S. traveling around and getting involved in shady business and then just killing a bunch of people.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's going on. So I don't want to read. I don't want to read book 3 until I finish this one, and I'm taking this one a chapter a day as well. So I have about 20 chapters left.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah. So are you running these days then?
No. Well, I mean, like since I posted that time trial, like I wanted to give my body a break because I had taken. Let me just double check my workout log because like I've done like 3-4 weeks of paddling, and in that time I've greatly decreased my running volume. So when I did that time trial on Saturday, I had not run in like at least a week, and then I I felt like I was pretty close to injuring my left ankle, my left knee, and then maybe something on my right leg as well if I ran this week. So I decided
Okay.
to take this week off because I ran pretty hard out the gate during the time trial, but I died like a kilometer in. It was
Okay.
so sad. I started off like at like a four, like it was way too fast. It was like a 4 minute click, and
Oh,
then
wow.
I died to like five minutes, like a kilometer in. I was like,
Man,
oh yeah, I can do this. And then I was like, nope, I can't do this.
man, that's I feel like that's what's gonna happen so I'm planning to do a couple of races next year, if everything is opened up again.
Mhm.
So probably like maybe a 5 or a 7 or a 10K, a couple of those if possible. But I'm working out under the assumption that if I practice at 5K, I'm probably going to do way harder than that during a race. So I'm going to try to practice 8Ks. And then when I do the 5K, I'll probably feel the same after finishing the 8K as I would in a 5K race. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty similar to the periodization that we used to do uh, for track and field as well, because we'd always do like some obviously the hard high intensity pieces, but we also do some like longer distance pieces there as well,
Hmm.
just to make sure our muscular endurance was on point as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's kind of how I do my running practices, which are workouts. I run like 2 or 3 times a week. Um, every 2 weeks or so, I end up going hard, not intentionally. It just happens like that, and then
Nice.
it's followed by like really slow runs. So I have a long run every now and then, an intense run every now and then, and all the other ones are like in between, where it's either I'm increasing mileage slowly run by run, and then or just like just running because I want to keep in practice.
Yeah. No, that's a pretty good strategy, man. And we talked a little bit, but have you got? You mentioned that you had scheduled an appointment for physio. Have you actually gone in since we last talked?
Um, yeah, yeah. So I pulled
How'd that
something
go?
in my left leg like 2 years ago when I was
Yeah.
running a 10K in the winter, and after 9K, something pulled. So that was the injury, and then I never got it checked out. But I finally went in January to
Wait,
physio here at Western.
wait. Since I thought you went to physio and then they prescribed something, but it just got marginally better. But you actually never went to see physio since
Oh,
the injury.
well, so okay, so there was the injury in like December 20, I want to say
17.
2017.
Yeah.
Then I didn't get that checked out. But then in July or June
2018.
2019, I was having like back pain and neck pain, so I got
Yeah.
physio for that, and that helped. Then I moved back to London that summer,
Mm-hmm.
which was summer 2019, and then the original calf injury I got checked out in January 2020. So I saw the
Okay.
physiotherapist from January to March, but then my last appointment was canceled. So like I had the appointment on Monday and it was canceled on Friday because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so basically to answer your question, I was going to physio. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep up with the exercises. I haven't gone back. So yeah, it's helped. I'm kind of ramping up the physio stuff on my own. So for example, like some of the exercises I have to do are like standing lunges on both sides, hip thrusts, calf raises. And
Mm-hmm.
my physiotherapist told me, do it every other day so your body can recover. But now I can kind of now I'm trying to do a bit every day just to it feels better.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keeping fit is super important. because the less you use your body, the less you can use your body. So as long as you're practicing your range of motion every day, well, you got to do it. Otherwise, your range of motion is going to go away. Um, and I've had stiff legs for years, but I've only realized that now that I'm finding I can loosen up my legs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you said. We just need to keep moving, and like it's very much if you don't, not necessarily, but it's kind of along the same veins of like if you don't use it, you lose it kind of deal. Like
Exactly.
in this case, it's not really that you lose it; it's just that you have to spend that time to build it back up again, like that flexibility, that running endurance, that like strength, which is fine. Like, you know, that's life. Sometimes you go down, you have to go back up. But then like, it's like you say, if you do it every day, maintain it, then you don't have to work as hard to keep it up.
Yeah, you know, the hardest barrier for me is pain. Like like to figure out what kind of pain is good and what kind of pain is bad. The way I figured it out is, well, when I pulled something, I kind of have an idea of when I might pull something now. But as I'm working out day to day, you know, like a year or two ago, I might stop when it starts hurting. But now it's like, all right, let's see if this is, if this pain is a signal that's saying, oh, you're standing the wrong way, or you're doing this exercise the wrong way, versus, oh, you're stretching something out or building muscle or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like it's important to recognize that you have a certain limit that you can go to within like safe terms, but not to, and you don't want to like underperform in your training too, because then you're just essentially spinning your wheels as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're taking the week off.
Yeah, I'll probably start running again tomorrow. I won't probably paddle at least for a couple days until Lake Ontario clears up a little bit, because I do have like a small scrape on my left leg that I don't want to risk jumping in the water for, considering the bacteria level.
Okay.
But
so what are you doing in your break then?
Well, lately it's been a good amount of The Expanse, a good amount of work, some gaming here and there. Evan got a few of us, Mike and me, who most recently have picked up Vermintide 2. It's just like, you've heard of the game Left 4 Dead?
I have heard of it, yep.
So it's basically Left 4 Dead. Like Left 4 Dead, you're fighting zombies with 4 people. In this case, Vermintide, you're fighting rat creatures and barbarians with your friends. So same deal, but you're doing it in a fantasy setting. So
okay,
that's been fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I was chatting with Evan yesterday. Yeah, we were just talking really on Discord. We were supposed to game, but no one else showed up, so we were just chatting. We were talking about how hilarious death metal is, and I say it's hilarious because for me, it's a novelty. I don't listen to it often, so when I do and I hear someone just screaming, I laugh every time. It's like,
yeah.
oh, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but yeah.
Yeah, we got to get Mike in on that. He's into that screamo.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
I've also been journaling more often too.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I found that the journaling and like meditating have helped me during this time as well. collect my thoughts. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends about journaling as well, because it's something that he's been interested in as well. But he's also like me, like not not very diligent about it. Like I've been good so far over the past like 2 months about like trying to journal like a few jot notes every day. But you know, I was having a conversation with him about like AI and how like in 2018 there's already an algorithm essentially that was able to pass the Tokyo University entrance exam within the 80th percentile. And that includes obviously the math questions, but also short answer essay questions. Wow. So that was back in 2018. Okay. And you know, probably 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, we'll probably be able to, and like you see all the deep Twitter bots as well that can generate these sentences. Some that can generate novels too, or like short stories. But it'd be cool that, you know, in the future, maybe 10 years from now, maybe less, maybe more, that you can just like, I could give the training data of my my journal entries, and then the algorithm would be able to write back like text as if I wrote it back when I was 28, and I could do that in the future, or like I could have a conversation with myself from the past.
Wait, okay, so you're saying there could be an AI that can pretend to be you when you were younger based on stuff you wrote at that time?
Yeah.
That's trippy. I don't know if I don't think I'd want to talk to myself when I was younger. Because all I would be thinking is, man, he's so dumb. It's like,
yeah,
like I know everything. I know everything that he has experienced in his whole life and more. Obviously, like that, you're literally smarter and more experienced than your younger self.
That is a very important perspective to keep in mind. I think it's more of a novelty, but if anything, maybe it helps you keep grounded with and see like how far you've come as well. Like it's a touch point that you can reference to, like say if this does work. I mean, like, you know, that's one of the whole points of journaling too. Like you can reference back to how you're feeling then, back to good times, back to bad times, and so just like referencing like the stuff that went on during that time, you can actually interact with like with the actual, with a better approximation of like how you felt during that time.
Yeah, so it's basically like the progression of journaling was, all right, years ago you'd write down your journal entry, and then you might still do that, but now you can start a blog. You can blog your journal entry, or you can start a vlog. You can vlog your journal entry. But then you're waiting for the day where you can just AI your journal entry.
Well, I mean, I think the journal entries would still happen, and I think you're right. Yeah. I think writing would probably take maybe a little too long. I think maybe the proper way to do it is to just do video logs, because not only are you capturing the audio information, which, you know, like you're capturing like the literal words that are spoken. You're also capturing the tone of voice, which says a lot about the person's temperament at the time. But you're also capturing the person's expression visually, which says a lot as well, because you can read a lot from a person's tone of voice as much as you can from their facial expressions, right? So,
right. Okay.
Like people are able, like there's research done about like using ML to determine what extent people are experiencing PTSD just by using algorithms in this current day and age. So yeah, I think the journaling in the future will probably be just like, actually, well, I don't know if it's journaling specifically, but I think it'd be interesting to see video logs of people in the future, like being referenced by like machine learning scripts and then seeing what happens with the output.
Mm. That's so trippy. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be a world where there's enough artificial intelligence that people can basically make a, or how do I say this? So basically, you know how there are monks nowadays? Like they just they're monks, you know, they do
Yeah.
monk things. I don't actually know what monks do, but I'm sure meditation is part of it. But if there's enough artificial intelligence in the world, everyone could be a monk.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say because I don't think we'll ever reach that saturation. Like
Mm.
you hear about I already forget the term for it, but there's a term for when a civilization has reached a point where they're actively harnessing the energy of their sun. I think
Okay.
they're called they build massive spatial solar panels around their solar system's star. I think they're called Dyson spheres, where they
Okay.
just like they have the sun at the center of the solar system, their sun, and then they basically put like an array of solar panels just locked around the sun, and
Mm.
it's constantly receiving the energy from the sun. So
Okay.
essentially, any civilization that reaches that point will have virtually limitless energy for their species.
Mm.
So this is
Yeah.
all goes back to the point, like, you know, if we had AI to like do the work for us, or we had like unlimited resources, what would we do?
Yeah.
That's a that seems so far out of reach that it's just hard to imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I don't really understand AI. My experience with AI is that I'm aware of is basically in movies, like when the robots take over, what is it called? iRobot. That's probably one of the first times.
Oh yeah,
That scared me. Like
I,
there's a scene where the robot like looks out of a corner and all you see is red eyes. And then I couldn't sleep that night. I mean, I probably did sleep, but I was so scared.
yeah, yeah. I remember watching that movie as a kid too, and like I thought it was like I didn't really understand it as a kid, and
I
like
still
I
don't
never.
remember what it's about.
I guess I don't really remember too much about what it was about either, you know, besides like, I guess, common sci-fi themes of artificial intelligence and like what it means to be a sentient being.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, one of the classic Isaac Asimov novels as well.
Okay. Well, that's a. Oh, I didn't know that was a novel. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's based on Isaac Asimov's book by the same name, I, Robot.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read any of his stuff, but I've heard the name. Like, apparently he's a big sci-fi guy from years ago.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. You should read The Last Question by
Last
Isaac
question.
Asimov.
I'm gonna write that
Yeah,
down.
it's.
Oh,
I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
uh, I so years ago I bought a Humble bundle, and it had a bunch of ebooks on it.
Oh,
And
nice.
one of the books was called Spin.
Oh, yes.
Have you read
Actually,
it?
Spin is a fantastic novel. Yeah, I read
Man,
it like 2 years ago.
my I was tripping through the whole book, especially at the end. Oh my god. I was I even drew a
Yeah.
diagram. I drew a diagram of
Of
like
the timeline.
not necessarily. So if anyone's watching this, spoiler.
Oh, you actually have? Oh, nice. A book of sketches?
Yeah, sketchbook.
Sick.
Uh, I also have a picture of it, so maybe I don't know what's better if I screen share or just show this on camera. Let me try to.
Oh, you can
Try
just show
to.
on camera. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'm good for either.
All right. So basically, this is a spoiler. Um, so what I want to do is I want to write about the book, but I'm not sure what to write or how to write. So I started with the diagram. Okay. Well, it's all backwards because the writing's all the opposite direction.
Oh, you're right.
Let me just do it. Anyway, it's not important. The important thing is I liked it so much I drew a diagram.
Yeah, I mean, that's good actually. I have more to comment on this in the future, but I can't tell you when that'll happen. I just need to touch base with you later on.
Okay, about the book?
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it later. I'll send you a link on Hangouts for the PDF version of the last question. Honestly, that might be one of my top pieces of literature that I've ever read.
Oh, but Davis, this is a video chat that's going to go up on YouTube. You might be incriminating yourself by deciding to share a PDF. Is it in the public domain?
Yeah.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Spin was, I don't even know. It tripped me like, oh.
Yeah, because there's that whole sense of, I guess, mystery. There's always something more to unfold, and yet you're still trying to know more about these kids that grew up together.
So why don't we just talk about it then? If I enjoyed it, you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a couple of things. So first, it was cool how the story kept alternating from like, okay, if you look at the story as a chronological story, not how it was written, but the story itself, the chapters kept alternating, not like one by one, but it kept going back and forth between the middle of the story to the end versus the start of the story to the middle. So that was kind of cool when the story kind of met up. So yeah, so at the beginning, you have these three kids staying in the big house. You have twins, Diane and I think Jason Lawton, and then Tyler Dupree is their friend who's staying with them, and then one night the stars disappear, and then you're just like, that catches your attention immediately, like what's going on. And then in the future, Tyler's just like getting drugged up, and you're like, this is weird. Why is he getting drugged up? So okay, I think one of my favorite parts were okay, so when I'm doing a really poor job of explaining this for people who haven't read the book, but whatever. When the sphere comes up on Mars, it's obvious in hindsight, but at the time I was like, whoa, that was a getting tripped out moment.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm I guess still, I don't want to say too much, but like I really liked the revelation at the very end where.
Have you read the next two books?
I have not, no.
Okay, so I've already finished it.
Have you?
Yeah, I finished Spin,
okay,
but not the other two.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
I haven't read the other ones either.
Okay.
I heard they weren't as good. I was starting to read the second one, but it just didn't capture me as much as the first one after like, I don't know, 2 chapters, I think. 3 chapters.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't you want to say too much? It's not like you're spoiling anything.
Right. Oh, I guess I'll say The Expanse Season 3 has some pretty cool ties, I think.
Ah, okay. Okay. That's all I need to know.
Right.
Damn it. Now I really want to read the book. But I gotta finish this other book.
Finish the other one and then get back to The Expanse. But okay. I feel like I want, that's as far as I'll say, like it because you've enjoyed Spin so much, you will enjoy season 3 of The Expanse a lot. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You're a good hint giver because like that doesn't spoil anything. It just gets my mind going with lots of questions, and I can't be mad at you because it's awesome and I feel great. So that's a
All
great
right.
hint. You should be a
Okay,
professional
good.
hint giver.
I mean, it only works so well because we both read we both finished season 2 of The Expanse, and
Mm.
we've both read Spin. But I was worried that okay, Spin is great. If you like it, you'll love season 3.
Okay.
The same reasons you like Spin, essentially.
Okay, I love getting tripped out. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
man, um, but yeah, Spin was pretty awesome. Um,
Yeah.
man. Oh, I don't know why. I'm just feeling tired because I got excited talking about Spin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still looking for work. I haven't had an interview since March, but I'm still applying to 2 or 3 jobs every week.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a tough time to find jobs, period, dude.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I've been all up in the social media game. Um, I got a YouTube channel. I got a website now, a blog technically. Yeah,
Sick.
Instagram. Oh, I'm doing this thing on Instagram where I put a screenshot of my smartwatch when I wake up in the morning, and I'm trying to wake up early in the morning.
Hmm.
So it's cool because every time I look at it, it's like I think right now I have 7 or 8 screenshots. So the more early times you see, the more you're like, man, I can do this. I've already done this like 7 days in a row. I can wake up early anytime I want. So it's a cool way to keep myself accountable to sleeping only as much as needed and not any extra. And that's something like you just kind of figure out as you live your life, you know, how much sleep do you actually need and how much sleep do you actually sleep, you know?
Yeah, man. That's a that's a great way of looking at it, and
Mhm.
that reminds me because I'm still working. I've probably been like working on this book for 6 months now. Um, but there's this book by Matthew Walker called I think it's called Why Do We Sleep or
Okay.
something like that. Um, it was on Bill Gates's top 6 books of 2019, I think.
Okay.
Um, Why We Sleep, yeah, Matthew Walker. It pretty amazing book. I mean, it obviously we know sleep is important for recovery, but besides like recovery for like mental and physical exertion,
Hmm.
it's actually a lot more important than I had given credit for initially. And when we like sleep on our sleep, when we don't give sleep the respect that we really should,
Hmm.
it actually is to a much more heavy detriment for our overall health than like I had initially suspected.
Okay. So, like, what's an effect that sleeping less has on a human body that you didn't suspect before?
Well, it basically makes there's tons of different reasons. It makes you more susceptible to uh, just I think it makes you more susceptible to illnesses. It very
Hmm.
much weakens your immune system. So you're more prone to infections that wouldn't normally cause you harm otherwise.
Hmm.
So typical like flus and stuff are a lot more. They're bad, but now they're even worse when you have poor sleep. You're at a higher risk for developing. I think it was like you're higher risk for developing like heart disease. Um, at higher risk for developing like um, I guess I think MS was one of the like possibilities too. Like your myelin sheaths would be degraded, something like that.
All right, you're not talking about multiple sclerosis, are you?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
you are? You
yeah,
are? Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, I've noticed that just in my own life. I mean, back in Waterloo, whenever you had like a big project due or an assignment due, you might pull like late nights, couple days in a row, or all nighters possibly. And then you feel
mhm.
great when you're doing it, but then after you're done the submission or the presentation, you're just so exhausted. And then I would get sick for a couple of days, just like sniffles or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we can get away with that when we're young
Mm,
because we can just recover pretty quickly. But we're it, it's only going to get harder for us as time goes on. So
yeah. So
when we
what do you think about like so there's a difference between um so like let's okay, look at two cases. Let's say you get 8 hours of poor sleep versus like 4 hours of great sleep. I mean, that's kind of what I'm experimenting with now. I'm not actively trying to sleep less, but I'm trying to set a mental alarm so that alarm's not a great word, but basically I'm trying to sleep only as much as necessary. Some nights it's like 4.5 hours, but I feel great the whole day.
Mhm.
Um, so, but I do notice if I sleep a lot or if I don't make the effort to get up, if I sleep like 7 or 8 hours, like you're just tired after you wake up. Like you're just much more groggy. It takes longer to get going in the day. So that's interesting. I think that you could sleep less and be better off on some days anyway.
yeah, I mean, I think experimentation, like you said, is what's required.
Hmm.
For me, like there's a period where I went to bed around 10 to 11 every night, and I set an alarm to wake up for 6, 7, and that worked out just fine, getting like 8 hours of sleep or so.
Hmm.
And then when I didn't have the alarm on weekends, I would still wake up around the same time, going to bed at the same time. So it seems for me that given a set amount of physical activity, given a set amount of mental activity throughout the week, throughout the days, I'm able to maintain. It seems like 8 hours is like what works best for me. And if I
Hmm.
sleep too much, like 9.5 or more hours, I feel groggy.
Yeah,
6 hours can work pretty decent for me too. Um, but I think I do perform my best when I get like around 8 hours.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see that because whenever I like, so for example, I ran a 10K a couple of days ago, maybe last week,
Mm-hmm.
and the morning of the day that I ran the 10K, I woke up around 5:30, I believe, and I was waking up around that time, like maybe like 4:45, 5:30 for a couple of days before that. But then the day after the 10K, just the extra 2 hours, like I woke up at 7:30, and I wasn't feeling groggy. So yeah, I think yeah, it also depends on your exertion. Like if you're just gonna do intense exercise at random times, you're gonna have to compensate it somewhere, whether it's sleep or food. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like your body, your body's gonna let you know when you need that rest. It's
yeah,
really up to you if you're gonna listen to your body and pay full respects.
that's what you got to do. You gotta, well, exactly what you said. Oh, all right, so I think we've done like 50 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess we can end it there. At least the
Yeah.
recording part of it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
That
So,
sounds good to me.
all right. Well, yeah. So, oh, yeah. I have a name for the podcast. It's going to be called Rao Talk. My last name is
Nice.
Rao, Akshay Rao. Rao Talk episode 1, Davis Lee. Thank you.
Thanks, actually.
Okay. How do I stop recording? Okay, I figured